My dad left me the house, but my mom kicked me out to move in with her new family. 15 years later, I tried to get my house back, but they started threatening me, so I went to the police. I'm 24 years old. Let me start by saying that my mom kicked me out of the house to impress her new husband. Okay, if kicked out sounds too harsh, let's say she evicted me from my own home and made me live with my paternal grandparents. All of my good memories are from the time when my dad was still alive. Unfortunately, he died when I was only 7. I felt completely devastated. I was really close to my dad, and saying goodbye to him at the funeral broke my heart. I can still clearly remember that moment, and it still hurts. While I was trying to cope with the loss, my mom brought another man into our lives and insisted that I call him Dad. I thought, no way. I don't know if I was right or wrong, but it just didn't feel right to call him Dad just a few months after my father had died. After our first meeting, I often saw him in my mom's bedroom, and it was hard to watch how quickly she was able to move on. She didn't even wait a full year before bringing in a replacement for my father. I wasn't ready to accept this man. I had just turned 8 when they held their beautiful wedding. They organized a fairly big event, considering it was the second marriage for both of them. But that wasn't my business. She left me with my grandparents and went off on her honeymoon. A month passed, but she never came back. I kept asking my grandma and grandpa when my mom would come get me, but they had no answer. Then one day, she showed up. I was so happy to see my mom after such a long time. I ran to hug her, but she had brought all my things. It was, to say the least, heartbreaking. I stayed with my grandparents all through high school. I was happy with them. My mom would sometimes visit just to tell me how much she loved me and cared about me. Sometimes I would ask her, if she loved me so much, why did she leave me with grandma and grandpa? She didn't have an answer. She tried to make excuses, saying, "Oh, your grandparents are getting old. They need help with groceries and the trash." Later, she admitted the real reason. She gave my room to her stepchildren. Bill, my mom's new husband, had 2 kids who moved into our house after the wedding. My mom chose her new family over me. Naturally, I was hurt by her. Over time, I stopped trying to stay in touch. After graduating from school, I moved out of my grandparents' place, but I kept visiting them often. They were my saviors. They raised me. If not for them, my childhood would have been completely ruined. I'm 24 now. After working in marketing for a year, I decided to start my own business. To get my business going, I needed some startup capital, so I decided to rent out my house. Oh, and if I haven't mentioned it before, here's an unpleasant surprise for my mom and her new family. The house they're living in actually belongs to me. Yes, that's right. My father was extremely thorough with his will before he passed away, and he left all his assets to me, including the house. I was just a kid when his lawyer read the will at the funeral, but judging by the look on my mother's face, she was definitely not happy about it. Later, I found out she tried multiple times to contest the will, but she failed every single time. My dad had written it very carefully. The house was set to go to me, but I couldn't sell it until I turned 21. Until then, no one had the right to claim it or interfere with it. My grandparents think my dad likely foresaw my mom's intentions, which is why he made the will so strict. Otherwise, she could have manipulated me as a kid into signing it over to her. Last month, I called my mom to tell her about my plan to rent out the house, but she ignored all my calls. This week, when I visited my grandparents, I told them I wanted to make some money using the house. They reacted strangely. I asked what was going on, and they said I might face serious pushback when trying to reclaim the house, since my stepsister is pregnant by a guy who ran off, and Bill, my stepdad, recently lost his full-time job and now works the night shift at a store. Basically, they're in a tough financial spot. Now, I honestly don't know what to do. I need that house too. I quit my job and I need startup capital to launch my business. Update 1. Things have gotten pretty dramatic. As I mentioned, my grandparents told me that my mom and her family are having a hard time financially, so they probably wouldn't be eager to move out of my house. I decided to tell my mom about my plans and give them a few months' notice to leave. At first, I was going to give them just a month's notice, but knowing their situation, I decided on 3 or 4 months instead. Since my mom wasn't answering my calls, I went to her house. The house was nothing like I remembered it, and my mom had changed too. There was a coldness about her. Maybe she already guessed why I had come. When she saw me at the door, she forced a fake smile and gave me a half-hearted hug. Mind you, we hadn't seen each other in almost a decade. Yes, she stopped visiting me when I became a teenager. I held a grudge against her, and who wouldn't? Despite all the years apart, she didn't even ask how I'd been. She didn't care about me at all. It felt like her whole attitude screamed, "Oh, it's you. Something important must have brought you to my doorstep." The people pleaser in me said, "Oh no, nothing important. Just came by to see how you're doing. It's been so long." She smiled and said, "Yeah, it really has." Then there was a long, awkward silence, 5 minutes maybe, before I stood up to leave. It was incredibly uncomfortable. I didn't feel welcome at all. Aside from my mom, my pregnant stepsister was also home. She gave me the same look, like I was there to stir up trouble. At that point, I let go of the idea of reclaiming the house. I started looking for other ways to raise capital for my business. But my mom crossed a whole new line of narcissism. Last week marked the 15th anniversary of my dad's death. My grandparents held a small prayer ceremony at church. Since I was in town, I decided to do something bigger, feed the poor and give gifts to underprivileged kids. I invited friends and family to the prayer ceremony. I also sent my mom an email invitation, but she didn't respond. When I checked the delivery report, it turned out she hadn't even opened the message. It was the first email I'd ever sent her. I figured maybe it went to spam or something, so I decided to go to her house again. This time my mom wasn't home. The door was answered by my stepsister Brenda. No greeting, no kindness, just a blunt question. "You again? What do you want?" I said I came to see my mom. She snapped. "After how she felt after the last time, you really think she wants to see you again?" She said it so rudely it took me a second to register. I finally said I came to invite her to the prayer ceremony in honor of my dad. Brenda laughed in my face and said, "That was 100 years ago. Let it go already." I said, "Excuse me, he was my father. You have no right to comment." She rolled her eyes and walked back to her room. I sat on the porch feeling like a fool for a few more minutes, then left a note on the table for my mom asking her to call me. She called the next day and I told her about the prayer ceremony. She went quiet for a minute, then said she wouldn't be able to make it because she had to take Brenda to a medical checkup. I was disappointed. She could have at least said she'd try to come, but a flat-out refusal was just hurtful. I responded sarcastically, "Of course, they're your priority. We mean nothing to you, so fine, have it your way. Good luck raising that narcissistic girl and her larva." My mom exploded. I asked why I should be polite when she had been so cruel to me. She mocked my dad's death. Defending Brenda, she said, "Of course she got mad. You can't talk about the dead in front of a pregnant woman. You're as heartless as your father." That's when I lost it. I shouted at her not to speak badly about my father. "If anyone's heartless here, it's you. Talking about my dead dad like that?" She replied, "Your dad died 15 years ago. For God's sake, get over it." I snapped back, "Sure, like you did, in just a few weeks, maybe even days. You know what? Don't come. My father wouldn't want your prayers if he saw your true colors." I hung up. That same day, I hired a lawyer and started the eviction process. It took the lawyer about 15 days to validate my father's will and send the official notice to my mother. As expected, when the eviction notice reached them, she was furious. Clearly, she never thought I'd go that far, just to get back at her for skipping the memorial prayer for my dad. I laughed when I heard her voicemail and blocked her. When she couldn't reach me, she showed up at my grandparents' house. I wasn't there at the time. And yes, I'm staying with my grandparents again while I get my life together. She asked them to convince me to withdraw the eviction notice. My grandparents are calm and kind people, so they didn't kick her out. They told her they couldn't do anything about it. The house is my property, and I have every right to do what I want with it. Fair enough. My mom clearly didn't like that answer and accused my grandparents of raising a spoiled brat. Seriously? Number 10. I asked my grandma why she didn't say anything to my narcissistic mother. Grandma replied, "We don't want to get into it with her." I said, "Well, I do, and now I won't let them stay in my house." a single day longer. I issued the eviction notice according to the tenant laws in our country. Even though they're not technically tenants and don't pay me any rent, I'm the one who pays the annual property taxes. So legally, I have the right to kick them out at any time, even right now. My grandparents are religious people, and they talked me out of that idea. They said, in the name of the Lord, at least give them this month to find a new place to live. Be sure to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss more incredible discussions. In the meantime, check out our other videos.